Hi everyone, I'm Susan Smith, and I have a question for you. Have you heard all the noise that's going on in the real estate market today? There's talk about recession, there's talk about affordable housing, and what's going on with interest rates. All of it swirling around. And with next year being a presidential election year, all this noise is just going to get louder. So, I've decided to put together a monthly market update for the Charlotte MSA, which really means Charlotte metro area. And I hope that you will find it informative and educational. There will be statistical data and lots of good information for you to get educated on what's going on so you can make an informed decision. And as always, at the end of the video, all of my contact information will be there. If there's something else you'd like to see in these market updates, if you've got questions, or if you want a market update on what's going on with your particular house in your neighborhood, your zip code, your whatever, your county, just let me know. Don't hesitate to reach out. Okay, so I hope you enjoy Susan Lynn Smith Realty's very first market update for the Charlotte metro area. So let's start with a word that frightens a lot of people: recession. Most of us were negatively impacted by the country's last recession in 2008, and it was really scary because it completely involved the housing market. So it's only natural for a lot of people to be afraid when they hear talk about another recession. But what do the experts think? When will the next recession begin? Will it be another housing crisis? And should we be afraid? Earlier this year, 4 major surveys were completed by experts from the Wall Street Journal, Duke University, the National Association of Business Economists, and also Pulsenomics, which are a bunch of market analysts. And here's what they had to say. 67% of them believe that a recession will begin in the next 18 months. But here's what you need to know. Recession does not mean a housing crisis. Recession literally means a slowdown in our economy for 2 straight quarters. So it's a temporary slowdown, and it's a natural phenomenon in the ebbs and flows of an economy. Our country has experienced its longest period of economic recovery in its history. So a slowdown is just inevitable. It does not mean a housing crisis. And some of the experts are even saying that by the time we realize there's an economic slowdown, it will be over. So let's take a look at what housing prices did in the last few economic slowdowns. I think this will really help you guys. So you see here in 2008, obviously that was the housing crisis and home prices took a deep dive. But look at the other 4 slowdowns all the way back to 1980. In 3 out of the 4, home prices rose. And in 1991, home prices had a very small drop. So looking at this history, the data shows that home prices are minimally impacted or continue to rise in an economic slowdown. So if it's not a housing crisis, what are they saying is going to trigger the economic slowdown? The experts say the top 3 answers are trade policy, stock market correction, or a geopolitical crisis. So a housing slowdown was way down on the list at number 9. What's even more interesting is those same experts that are projecting an economic slowdown also project that homes will continue to appreciate. The appreciation rate is going to slow in 2020 and 2021, but then it starts back up in 2022 and forward. So the bottom line is that home ownership is still a viable and smart means for people to build wealth. Now let's talk about affordability. 40% of people say that affordability is the number one obstacle in their minds when it comes to home ownership. This chart shows it's a housing affordability index on a national level, so it's the whole country, not the Charlotte region only. The higher the number, the greater affordability. So as you can see, under today, yes, homes are not as affordable as they were a few years ago if you compare it to when we had a ton of distressed properties on the market. But homes are still way more affordable than they were pre 2008 and the housing crisis. Also, the percentage of your income that goes towards your mortgage payment, that is still well below the historical norm. So the norm is 21.2% of your income would go to housing. Now, what it is today is 16.6%. Interest rates. They're important because they affect your purchasing power. So your ability to purchase a home with a mortgage. In other words, you can say, really, how much home can you buy? Interest rates have dropped over the last few months and are at the lowest that we've seen in a while. And this is good. It helps affordability. And let's look at an example. So someone who wanted to have a mortgage payment of $1,300 a month, back in 1985, interest rates were super high at 11.26%. They could only afford around a $133,000 house. In 2000, mortgage rates had lowered. They were 7.38%, and that same person for a $1,300 monthly payment could afford a $188,000 house. Now fast forward to today, and this slide shows 4.81%, and as we know, mortgage rates are below that now, but using this example, 4.81%, that same person could afford a house that was $247,000. So you can see even the slightest drop in interest rates, you can buy more home for your money. Okay, so now we're going to get into the regional information. So that, again, this is the Charlotte metro region. So I'm going to talk about, we're going to compare this year to last year, so year to date to last year. So far this year, we've had 5,583 new listings, which is down slightly from this time last year. And we've had 5,206 pending sales, which is up by almost 16%. So we have slightly fewer new listings, but more pending sales. There have been 4,627 homes that have closed this year. And on average, homes are staying on the market for around 44 days, which is 2 days longer than it was last year. So we've got slightly fewer home sales that have closed, and they're staying on the market a little longer. The median sales price of a home in the Charlotte metro area is $265,000. That's up 10.4% from this time last year. And our inventory is down from last year. We only have 2.3 months supply of homes for sale, which means theoretically, given the current pace of home sales, it would take 2.3 months for our current inventory on the market to totally sell out. And a normal market, just for your information, that we should have around 6 months supply. So we're pretty low. So to recap, new listings were down, pending sales were up, home prices were also up, inventory is down, and homes are staying on the market a little longer than last year. So what does all this mean? Well, demand has increased relative to our supply, and this supports the national reports on our market that seller traffic is stable. So people are selling their homes, and homes continue to appreciate in value. But buyer traffic in North Carolina is strong. So what's happening is buyers are putting more demand on the market, but they're being very picky about the homes they choose to buy. So homes are staying on the market a little longer than last year. But overall, the Charlotte real estate market is doing well, and it's a really great time to buy, sell, or refinance a home. So if you or anyone you know needs help buying or selling, or you've got a real estate question, my contact info is here. Please reach out to me anytime. Also, check out my Facebook and Instagram pages at Susan Lynn Smith Realty. Like or follow me. I'm always putting new content out to help educate you guys and then also let you get to know me just a little bit better. So that's it for this month's market update. See you next time. Thanks, guys.